Hey everybody, Aaron Blaise here, and I'm really excited to let you know that I've got a brand new course out on my website at creatureartteacher.com on drawing animals from life. I just put this course out. I've been spending, probably about the last 2 months putting it together. And as you guys know, I love to draw animals, and I've had a lot of requests from people asking me what I do, what I think about when I'm drawing animals from life. So I spent the last couple of months putting together this comprehensive video tutorial on what I think about from animal anatomy, the gestures, what I think about when I'm drawing animals in zoos. We're going to be drawing pets. We go to bird centers. We do all kinds of stuff. It's really comprehensive. I'm really excited to share it with you. And all you got to do is go to creatureartteacher.com and check it out. So meanwhile, enjoy this sneak peek. So go on out there, put some beauty back into the world, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Hey everyone, so we are out here at Windsong Horse Farm here in Apopka, Florida, and our good friend Mike Fenster has set everything up for us, and we really appreciate it. We've got some beautiful horses here that we're going to be drawing today, and I'm just going to take you through my process and what I think about when I'm coming out and I'm drawing animals, particularly horses, from life. What I'm doing here is the first thing I do is I just sit down and I start looking at those shapes. You don't even have to start drawing right away. Just start looking at the shapes, looking at the rhythms. How are they connected? And if you remember what I was talking about in my earlier video, when I think about those 6 sections of the animal, you got the head, the neck, the shoulders and front legs, the torso or body, then the pelvic area and the back legs, and then the tail. Then I think about those areas, and then I bring them together and kind of unify them. And that's what I'm doing here. So here you can see right here, I've got the head and I've got the neck and the front shoulder, the shoulders and the front legs, and then the body, pelvic area, back legs, and then the tail. And it all works together. I think of them separately and also together. So especially when we're looking at foreshortening the animal. Here I'm doing a very quick gesture of the pelvic, back legs, the belly right here. Sometimes your sketches are kind of small. Then the front shoulders, and those legs are going to come in right here. The neck, like so. And I'm thinking about these in very simple terms. You can see I've got these lines indicated. You can get very simple, like so. And I love those tails just kind of flopping around. So once you get down, something down quick like this, then you can go in and you can tie that down. And here's where we start to see that overlap in those sections. Well, so the horses are starting to move away, so I think they're going to get up and kind of move down the fence line and get a little bit closer. So you can see these guys got fly masks on their face, keep the flies off them. They can see through these hoods. It just keeps the flies away and keeps them from going a little nuts. If you've ever been outside in Florida, you know there's a lot of flies and bugs and insects. And they love horses, especially the horse flies. Well, when I first come out, I like to just kind of get a lay of the land when I come out to a new place to draw. And just, you don't have to just jump in and start drawing. That's the key thing. I think a lot of people think they just have to jump in and start drawing right away, and that's really not the case. You want to get a sense of everything. Take some time and find the best spot to draw from. And then be prepared that, especially at a farm place like this, you're going to have to move around a bit. They're not going to sit still for you. So just be prepared to be mobile. So that's why, I liked having this little portable chair that I carry with me. I like to be able to sit if possible. And having this is really helpful. You just pluck it right up and off you go. So once again, I'm looking at this guy and those overlapping shapes. Trying very hard to stay very simple. If you can see my shapes here. Oh, that's a good shape right there. Good pose. If you get a few proportions off, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Like right here, I drew his head a little bit too big. The key here is to observe. Start filling that visual library that I'm always talking about. And remember, light and shadow can really do a lot for you. It really can help describe shape, form. And I'd just like to kind of fill my page. I like bringing a larger pad like this newsprint. You can bring a sketchbook, obviously. But I like drawing a little bit bigger. But as the space gets smaller and smaller, my drawings will get smaller and smaller. These horses have got such great rhythms to their bodies. Looking at the pelvic and back leg area where the thighs are, nice big triangular shape. So once again, here's a small sketch and just keeping it loose. Hey, buddy. Hi. How you doing? One of the great things about horses is that they stand relatively still. So you can get some nice poses. So I'm just roughing in. I'm standing kind of down the line here. So I'm having to push in a little bit. I want to get those ankles right. So there, now I've got them roughed in. I can come in and start to tie down a little bit. And what I'm doing when I'm tying it down is I can go in now and look at, specific areas. Hey, buddy. One of the things you always want to be thinking about, especially when you're out at a horse farm like this or any farm, is just being sensitive to the animals. They're living, breathing beings as well, and they've got personalities and idiosyncrasies and everything else. You want to respect them. You're new to their area. So you're going to be a curiosity, and you might be a little scary to them as well. So you just, you don't want to move around really fast. You don't want to be boisterous and loud, talking a lot like I'm doing now. Just respect them. So I'm really being hyper aware when I'm sitting here and drawing these guys. I'm looking at angle changes, especially look at the pelvic area here, that little break in the back, right where the leg comes down. I'm always looking at comparisons like that. The rhythms of the back legs here, the curve there from the knee down to the ankle. Oop, scraped your nose on there, sorry. So when I first sat down, these animals, the horses were kind of overlapping each other, and I really like that. So I want to do that. I want to add that. So I'm going to draw the other horse, kind of remembering what I had. But I'm also going to use the pose that I see here as reference. So I'm just roughing in. I want to make sure the perspective is right. Hi. Hello. 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 There we go. I had a horse, his name was Rebel. I don't know that, I think I only put a saddle on him maybe 3 times the whole time I ever had him. I always rode him bareback. I'd come home from school, hop on him, and we'd go. There we go. Well, these guys are easy to draw today. They're being such good models. I love the feel of a horse chin. All soft and squishy. You're all soft and squishy. All right. Draw this guy in the background. Love the shape of those back, the hips going down into the legs. You know, another big thing to think about when you're drawing is really watch your proportions. It's an easy thing to let get away from you. Once you start getting familiar with some of these shapes, you can start manipulating the pose a little bit too. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly what you see. You can adjust it for aesthetics. I like to sharpen my pencil and then get in there and get some details, especially with the smaller drawings like this. Hello. Hi. Oh, you got a little jealous, huh? Hi. Hi. Oh, look. Look. Hi. Hello. Hello. Well, hello. I can smell you. I can smell you. You're very gentle. Yes, you are very gentle. Another thing too is, you know, think about your environment too. Hi. These you know, I like to create at least a little bit of a ground plane, and the pasture here has got a lot of texture to it, and it's something to add, and it really adds a lot to the drawing. What do you think? Huh? Nibble? Have a little nibble? So when I first got here, when I first sat down, the horse trotted up. It was really a great example of locomotion. And this is one of the great things about the advantage you have as an animator, I have as an animator, is understanding the locomotion of four-legged animals so I can get that pose down. So that's one of the reasons I like to include the locomotion in my animal drawing courses, so that when we'd sit down for something like this, where I have a horse trotting away from us, I know the proper posing for that trot, where the feet are supposed to be. I have that impression in my head of what I just saw. I can jot it down really quickly. Once again, think about those 6 sections. I'm always going to drill that. That's the biggest, most basic piece of information I think I can give you when it comes to drawing four-legged animals. Just thinking about the head and how it attaches, connected to the neck. What's that rhythm of the neck? What's it doing? And how is it going to continue the gesture, that overall gesture through the body? And then we get into the pelvic area, or the shoulders and front legs. And then the body here. And notice at the same time, I'm really trying to unify all those 6 shapes, because we're going to the body, then in the pelvic area and the back legs, and then the tail. Which again, I like including some of the environment. So what starts out as a quick gesture, you can then go in and tie down pretty well. Give it a little dirt flying up in the air. Give it a little action. Even little things like, the angle. I'm thinking about the angle, so I want to see the bottom of that hoof. You can add little details like this. So I'm really quickly just doing a quick little portrait on how this hood sits on his head. Very quick drawing. Well, hello.
you're doing shading like that, is there anything in particular you're trying to emphasize?
Yeah, so when I'm doing shading, I'm looking to, first of all, just kind of add interest to the image, but also the shading is going to help define form. So I want that to happen. You can use heavier weight lines to recede, push things underneath, lighter weight lines for lighter areas. There's our little horse portrait. A lot of times I'll draw a line to define the shadow shape as well. It's just a stylistic thing I like to do. There, so you can see what I did was I sat down and very quickly just scribbled out that quick portrait as he sat there, and then was able to then sit here and tie it down. I can look at little details like the shape of that muzzle. There, what I'll do now is sharpen my drawing stick. So what I can then go in, and I like drawing with a blunt pencil or drawing utensil. And then you can go in and just kind of sharpen it and define areas. Well, hello. So here I'm just doing a little environmental sketch. The drawing of the horse is small, but I love the tree underneath that he's standing under. One of the things you can't avoid when you're drawing horses is that they are curious. They definitely want to see what you're doing. I love this tree. Nick pointed this out. That's a good call. Let's make a nice drawing. Once again, think about your environment. The Spanish moss is really a great touch. So once again, I lay it in rather lightly. Then I can go in and define with a nice defined line.
you're drawing something like a tree or Spanish moss or this sort of abstract.
Did you say Spanish mosh?
Is there anything you're thinking about?
Yeah, I'm trying really hard to not get repetitive with the shapes. So I'm really looking and trying to draw what I see rather than draw what I think. You know, because, yeah, Spanish moss does have, on the surface, repetitive shapes, but it's not just all spiky, and you get interesting things happening between, you know, drapery and, you know, the way they can drape on each other when the wind blows. And also, too, I don't want to get stuck drawing every branch. I want to get a sense of this tree, but I don't want to draw every single branch. So I'm just drawing indications here and there, and the brain will fill in the rest. And I'm thinking about light and dark. You can see some of these mosses I've darkened, and some of them I keep light over dark. Once again, if you've got the opportunity to add your environment and get a little bit of a mood piece, like I'm trying to do here, then go for it, because it really adds. It'll really capture your time, your experience. I want to get a nice silhouette on this guy. So I'm just going to lightly darken him. Or her. I keep automatically calling the horses he's. So I'm just quickly, once again, drawing in a quick gesture. And I like the angle on this head, on this horse's head. When I sat down, she was looking kind of at just like this. And so I thought, yeah, it's a nice angle. So I'm thinking about those shapes again. Remember, a lot of animal drawing is understanding your anatomy before you come out. I know horse anatomy. I've drawn horses many times, so it helps understanding that anatomy first. So here I've sketched in the horse very quickly, and I try to stay fluid with my lines. Thinking about perspective, how those feet are sitting on the ground plane. Remember the overlapping shape, so I've got that head overlapping with the neck, overlapping with the shoulders, then the trunk of the body, and then the hips and pelvis area with the back legs, and then that tail. That's how I get my foreshortening. With horses, look at those ankles. Look how they work. Look how the foot kind of has this nice graceful, the leg has this nice graceful flow into the hoof. I love the rhythms of a horse's leg, the hooves. So now I'll just go in and tie down some of the details here in the eyes. They're sitting so perfectly still. I can get in here and have some fun with some of the details. So what's fun now is, once you get that roughed in, that drawing roughed in, you can come in and start to have some fun with tying it down, getting a few nice details in here. I like the white marking on his face, or her face.
Is that something where you would go in and add white, or would you just let the paper?
I'm just letting the paper do it, like coloring around it.
What are we drawing with today?
This is it's like a crayon. It's kind of a waxy, it looks like graphite, but it's more of a crayon kind of drawing utensil. It's a Kohinoor, Kohinoor black Progresso. It's a solid piece. It's got a little bit of plastic around it, but it's a solid drawing utensil. And the newsprint takes it really nicely. I love drawing on newsprint. It's such a nice surface. It takes pencil and charcoal all really well. The other thing too is I like to come in and maybe define some shapes. So I can add some shadows to help define that form. So adding these little shadow lines helps define the form as well. Once again, I always like indicating a little bit of ground. There we go. There's a fine shape right there. I'm going to draw a little quick portrait. One thing to notice is look at that nice straight on the forehead, and you've got the complexity underneath with the chin and the underparts. They're such beautiful animals, horses.
Other than for classes and stuff that we've done, did you ever have to animate a horse?
I've never had to animate a horse for a production. No, I've animated horses, but yeah, like you said, for our classes and demonstrations, but I've never had to do it for production.
What are some examples of really good horse animation?
Alex Cooper-Smith and Khan from Mulan. Yeah. So some really great animation of horses. If you look at Sleeping Beauty and Milk Call's, I think that's Milk Call's animation of the horse. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. And then in Mulan, Alex Cooper-Smith animated Khan, and he's just beautifully done. Yeah, the horse in Tangled, they really did some really great stuff as far as getting character and really pushing the posing of what a horse can really do. You know, sniffing the ground, tracking like a dog. Some funny stuff. I've also got a full course on my website, which you probably already know if you're taking this course, but I've got a full course on how to draw horses. Just in case you didn't know. This guy's being such a perfect model. I can get all the little details. She's awesome.
Is there
You know, when you go out like this, not just knowing the anatomy helps, but being prepared, you know, for someone like me that I can't stand for very long, I like to have a little portable stool, little chair. You know, make sure you bring enough drawing utensils. You know, having a rubber band, you know, for my drawing in case it's windy really helps. You know, you can strap it down. Sunglasses. Pencil sharpener if you're going to use pencil. You know, make sure you bring all of your utensils. Can't tell you how many times I've gone out and went, oh, I forgot so-and-so. Here comes the sun.
Why do you like to use newsprint?
I like newsprint because it's cheap. You can, because a lot of times when you're out drawing, from life, your drawings aren't going to be great. You're a lot of times you're just learning, you know, the anatomy, and you're figuring things out, and so you're going to do a lot of bad drawings. So, you know, newsprint is nice and cheap, and but at the same time, it really takes pencil really well. And so it's just a nice surface to draw on. Sometimes I'll bounce back and forth between drawings because I'll look at another one that I did earlier and go, oh, I could use a little of this or a little of that. And so I'm always scrutinizing what I've done. I do like to keep my pages kind of balanced. So what we're doing now is we've got our model in front of us. We're drawing people on horses now, on a horseback, and it's the same thing. I'm being very, very loose. Which again, I want to be loose with my drawing. I'm looking at the angles, the head angle. They've just been wonderful about letting us come in and sketch the animals. So here I've got, once again, don't sweat the details, because here I've gotten him a little out of proportion, this horse a little out of proportion by the legs are a little too long, but I'm not going to sweat it. I can go in and get some details on her. So I've got her gesture in, and so now I just want to get some details in. So once again, coming in here, I'm able to lay in the drawing quickly. And then you can go in and add the details. Yeah, I was just talking about earlier, just making sure you get that gesture. You treat the person, if you're drawing a person on a horse, you treat them the same way you treat the horse, right? So you want to get the gesture, you want to think about the anatomy of the person sitting there. They're not just a blob sitting up there. Think about little things too, like, the knee, her thigh coming towards me, the foot coming towards me. So here, what I'm trying to think about is just all that overlap that we're going to see. Everything's overlapping everything else. Getting that head to overlap the shoulders and the way she's overlapping the body. And her legs are overlapping the shoulders themselves. And you'll see I had shadows over the face just to avoid getting too detailed. Let me just show you, do a quick gesture real quick to just show you how loose we can be. So you can see we can go very loose with it. Then once you get that loose sketch in, then you can tie that down so you can see how loose this is. So that was drawing horses. I want to thank Windsong Farms and Mike Fensterer for setting this all up. It was such a wonderful day. Like I said, anytime I'm drawing horses, I'm loving life. And horses, as far as big animals go, you know, when you're talking about cattle, horses, that sort of thing, they're fairly easy to find. A lot of people have stables around their where they live. So if you do a little bit of searching, you should be able to find some stables. And just talk to the owners and see if they'll let you draw. But like I said, I really enjoyed that. So why don't we go on to the next video now? Thanks.